Hello, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to tea time. How is everybody doing? Hi, guys. Just gonna give a couple minutes to allow folks to join while I am here having a couple sips of tea because usually when we start the talking, we don't actually get to the drinking of the tea. So we're gonna make sure that we get some tea drinking in today, okay? What are you having this morning, guys? It's Saturday, and we have all the different things to talk about. I'm a little bit, how you say, recovering from the Friday night excitement. So I don't know about you guys, but maybe you had some Friday night excitement that you're recovering from too. Anyway, this morning I am drinking a new tea that I'm trying out. It is Bigelow's lemon. It has just vitamin C in it, is what it says. And let me tell you something, I'm really liking it. It's just a very soothing, kind of natural tasting tea. But anyway, we're getting into the conversation this morning. Today we're talking about starting over, and I'll tell you why we're having that conversation. And of course, I'm going to pull a card from my deck of affirmation cards so that we can get our conversation off to a good start. How are you doing? Like, what's going on in your life? Are you actually having tea today? Are you having coffee? Um, what's been going on in your week? Are you feeling very empowered at the end of the week? Are you feeling like, oh my gosh, I just need a break? I've been feeling a lot like that lately. Yeah. So let's pull a card and see how our days are collectively starting. I love to do this at the beginning of our Saturday sessions because I think that how we self affirm makes such a huge difference in our life experience, right? Oh, this is beautiful. This is a great one for today. So, as I shared earlier, today we're going to be talking about starting over. And the card that I have just pulled has the intention of being limitless. I am limitless. This is really a good card for this conversation, guys. Okay, so what does it say? It says, my mind is a fertile playground filled with possibilities of abundance, new ideas, and limitless possibilities. All right. So the affirmation that you say is that my mind is a fertile playground filled with thoughts of new ideas, abundance, and limitless possibilities. This is a great card. So, why are we talking about starting over today? Well, we're talking about starting over because during the course of this week, one of my coaches actually posted something on her profile about it being okay to start over. And I really love starting over conversations just generally because I think people really feel that once you are on a particular trajectory in your life, it's just like if you don't make it, then you're a failure, right? Or if you don't make it, then there's something wrong with you and people are going to judge you. And, you will have all these mental stories about our inability to start over. But how many of you know that you're actually like life in and of itself, just the way it unfolds, you are actually always starting over. There's always these moments where you're making a shift in life, whether you're starting over because you have grown past a particular point and so you're at a new point and you're starting over, or because you are heading in one direction and then maybe you get married, maybe you have a child, right? Maybe it is you take on a love partner, or you start taking care of your parent, just natural things that happen in life, and we don't view those things as actually starting over, but it is technically the same thing, right? When we think about starting over, we usually think about it as something went wrong, like you were heading down a path, something went wrong, and now you're faced with having to go back to the beginning. We think about it as, something didn't go as we thought it was going to go. And so we have to go back. And that thinking of going backwards is what makes us feel like we are losing or we are failing at life. Okay. So thank you for joining. Those are the hi, good morning. Right. So the misconception in starting over is the feeling of going back, and the feeling that you're starting from the same place that you would have originally started from, right? So that's two. And then the feeling that if you do this start over thing, then how the external world is going to view you is also going to be negative. It's going to have a negative impact on you starting over. Hi, Nads. Hi. Right? But those are all misconceptions. And so we have these misconceptions going in. It's not that we don't decide that we're going to start over. No, we say, yeah, we're going to do it. But we have all these different negative misconceptions that are driving the intention and the energy for the starting over. Imagine that. Imagine you decide, say, okay, my career is going to crap. It's not working. Or I've gotten to a point where, this particular career path is no longer satisfying. Or, any of those things that can welcome a new beginning opportunity for you. That is happening in your life. And then you start to think, oh gosh, I'm going to have to start resume writing all over again. Oh gosh, I'm going to have to figure out how to talk in an interview all over again. It's literally like you did not already go through that process once, or even twice or three times, and you already have mastered that in some way, shape, or form because you've actually gotten a job. Okay, do you see where I'm going with this, guys? You start to argue for your limitations right after you decide, you start to argue for your limitations. And so what then happens, because you start to argue for your limitations the moment you decide that you're going to be doing this start over thing, that is the energy that is going along with you on the journey. And so your mind starts to now try to grapple with what is the actual intention. Is the actual intention to get to this new end state in a way that's successful and makes you feel good? Or is the intention to have this fear of not succeeding be the primary driver behind your experience? And you know what fuels that intention? Your thoughts. Your thoughts fuel that intention. That's why we have the cards, guys. That's why we have the cards. So today's intention, right, for starting over is that you are limitless. And if you start off with that intention, no matter what misconceptions pop up in your mind, okay, then immediately you can see where it's going to start to take on a different shape. Immediately you can see where you're going to be challenging your mind, and it's not going to be as easy for those negative thoughts to just sit there and take you down this downward spiral. Now, if you were on your own, just in your own little bubble, dealing with the concept of starting over, it would be bad and not so bad, like truly, right? If you didn't have the highlight reel of everybody else's life. And that's what social media has really done. Social media has given you the highlight reel of what's happening in everybody else's life. And the highlight reel is really, when they call it a highlight, guys, the reason why they call it a highlight reel is because people aren't out there posting all the foolishness that's going on in their lives. That's not what's happening. They're not posting all the drama, all the mix up, even if they post that sometimes, right? I'm not saying that they never post that. They'll post the drama and the mix up and the things that aren't going well every once in a while to add some flavor. But for the most part, people are posting the things that they have done well, that they have exceeded at. Because what then happens is your brain is programmed to look for those things. It's attracted to what seems safe and abundant and secure and wealthy, etc. Right? That's exactly what your brain is programmed towards. And this is why the algorithms and the feed they create these addictions, because you find yourself wanting to go back for more hope that you too can start over and create this magnificent life that you see everybody else displaying on their social media feeds. Okay? That's what it is, right? If you think about news before social media, you have good news and you have bad news. You'd watch the news and eventually, you'd see like a balance, I think, initially between the good stories of the fireman that saved the cat or the person that adopted 10 children because they were wealthy. And then you'd also see the catastrophe of the train crash that you can't stop watching because it's just like, oh my God. It's the same thing that social media does. These are highlights from things, and your brain feeds on those highlights. So when you're feeding on the highlights of somebody else's life looking like the thing that you want, and you're here trying to figure out, boy, my thing not going so good, my thing is not going good, but that person's thing is going good. God, something must be wrong with me. Something must be wrong with me. Why my thing not go good? And I'm afraid to start over because their thing looks so, maybe I'll never be able to achieve the thing that they have. And so we get stuck. We get stuck, literally stuck, in the highlight reel of everybody else's life, and then somehow get stuck because of that in the misconception that we can't have that. And then certainly we can't have it in the time frame that you want to be able to post it online and say you got it. Let's be real, guys. Let's be real. You follow some people and you see them flourishing because of their relationship. They're in love. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And I love to see a good love relationship. Like I really do. I really love to see, the love, the lovey-dovey. I love it. Last night I went out with my spiritual love partner. We just went out to have a drink, and we went to this popular bar. I'm in Kingston right now, Jamaica. We went to this popular bar in Kingston that I used to go to when I was single, right? And while I was there with him, having a really good time, drinking great margaritas because they make amazing margaritas. And I was drinking my margarita and they were playing like some really nice Papa You Want Some, and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting it on, right? Like just jamming and having a great time. And I'm looking around, at all the beautiful single women, because there were some really pretty girls there last night. And I'm looking around and, you have a couple that are, it's just like two of them. And then you have another group where it's like three of them. And they're like, they're talking and them have on them makeup and them drinking them drink. And they're looking around to see the prospects. And it occurred to me in that very moment that I really prefer being in the couple. Like I like where I'm sat right now in the couple's side, right? Like fully. And I said that to him. I was like, I remember being on Team Single. I remember it like it was yesterday. Okay. Not having the man in the bed. I remember it. And now today, as I'm observing people that are on Team Single, and Team Single has some perks, but I'm looking at Team Single and I'm thinking, no, I like Team Couple better. But you know how much work and time and energy and belief and tears and just all the things that it took to move from Team Single to Team Couple? It took work. It took time. It took me believing that I could have a limitless love experience. It was not a microwave, the man just running and yeah, it fixed. So why do we treat ourselves like that? Even before social media, we were still wanting this microwave start over with what we want at the end of it. And that happens not just in love, like I've just explained, but it happens with wealth building. It happens with your health. It happens with your career. It happens with entrepreneurship. Anything in your life that you're seeking to change, in particular now, because of the dawn of the highlight reels, we actually expect that it's going to just happen like that. We have microwave expectations. We want a house, and we feel that it's going to just be like, yeah, man, I've seen this. I'm following these guys online and they're talking about real estate and, they just have all this property and they're building all this. Listen, I'm a part of a project that started in, oh my gosh, 2012. The project started before I joined. The project started 2012. I joined the project 2017, and I literally just drove down to the project this past week to look at my beachfront one bedroom condo that's just about finished being built. And all of that time wasn't building. There was the planning, and there was the development of the land, and the finding out a contractor, and the permits, and all of that stuff. So when you're on social media and you see these people, sitting on the balconies of their beachfront condos, it didn't happen between last week's post and this week's post. So if starting over for you looks like going after my dream property, do not be deterred by the thoughts of microwave expectations. Do not be deterred by the societal pressures and the social media highlights that really distort our perception of progress and of success. We're literally, guys, living in this world where it's not just imagination that is ruling our thoughts. It's the imagination of others, and also the imagination of what it took for other people to get to where they are today. That's literally what is happening. Okay? Think of a time in your life where you did not have something that you wanted to have that you now have. Think of a time in your life where you did not have something that you really wanted that you have now. And think about the journey to get from where you were then in the not having to where you are now in the having. I'm sure you did not just go up to the microwave of your life and teleport yourself into the now experience. That was not the case. All right. So we have to recognize that it's okay to start over. And you don't have to, don't think that, all right, I'm just going to do it this one time and then I'll get it right. No, you never get it right, and you're never done as long as you're living. You're done when you're dead. That's when you're done recreating and starting a new thing. So stop beating up on yourself about not being where you thought you would be and needing to start over. Starting over is beautiful. It's an opportunity to create whatever you want on your canvas. You know how many times people that make these reels start over making the reel? Start over recording a video that they're going to post? It's okay to start over. Just be with it. Now, I gave you an acronym a couple of weeks ago around forgiveness, because sometimes, we get stuck. We get stuck a lot. Like, I get stuck. You get stuck. Everybody around you gets stuck. Even the people where it look like them life is microwave in a way. Everybody gets stuck. And you feel shackled. You feel shackled in your current situation, or you feel shackled in your stuckness, or you feel shackled in your inability to create that next step for your life. And so I'm bringing the same acronym back, guys. The acronym is the FREE acronym. Because ultimately, if you can free your mind, which is what it's really about, if you can free your mind, then you can create the access you need to anything that you want to create in your life. So the acronym is FREE, and it's really easy because most of us, that's what we want, right? You are in this game for the freedom that you will feel from the discomfort that you have because you don't have all the things in place where you want them to be. So that's what you're chasing, really. That's what you're seeking if you don't feel like you're chasing. Okay? So when we think about being free, it gives us this image of not being shackled anymore. You break free of that. And so we're going to break it down again. Number one, face the feelings. You need to face the feelings, confront and acknowledge the complex emotions that come with deciding to start over, right? You don't want to bury these feelings. You want to address them. You want to address them head on so that you can clear the path for the genuine renewal. And I'm in the month of May, in a year where I've made some decisions about things that I want to start over. And I'm still starting over, guys. This is just what it is. And I can tell you that I wasn't always in a place where I was facing the feelings. I wasn't always in a place where I was facing the feelings. I remember in particular when it came to doing my online brand and becoming an entrepreneur and really deciding what aspect of my life I was going to share digitally, because I don't share everything. You guys get the highlight reels too. First of all, I don't have time to share everything. Let's just be real. Like, I don't know. I just do not have time to just be always on. It's not available to me. And I think it's because I don't want it to make it available to myself. That's not how I want to spend my time. Anyway, I have started over multiple times. I think when 2020 came in and it was the whole pandemic and people were talking about pivoting, pivot became the new phrase for starting over. But I realized something that was happening in my head. It's like whenever I would talk to people about, oh, I was trying this and it never really worked, so I'm going to pivot. I would use the word pivot because it made me feel better about starting over, not realizing that what I needed to be dealing with is not the words I was using, but I needed to face the feeling that I got when I thought about starting over. I felt bad for trying a new way to do my online brand. I felt bad for trying a new way to build my business. And I felt bad talking to people about it. It made me feel shame, like I can't get my life right. You may be feeling that exact thing too. But again, you are the main character. It is your life. You don't need to business what nobody else think about your ability to create and to start over and to do new and to build again. So you have to confront and acknowledge the emotions because there is complexity in those emotions. But if you don't face them, like I was doing for so long, you end up like putting your light under a bushel. You end up like hiding your light because you're worried about what everybody else is going to think. So you can't bury the feelings because you end up burying your true self. You end up burying your dream. You end up burying the energy and the emotion and the intention that you need to be limitless in starting over. Right? So that's the first thing. Face the feelings. Now we're going on to the R. Release the stories that you have created in your mind that don't serve you as it relates to starting over. Holding on to the outdated stories about your failures and your shortcomings, it's going to prevent you from moving forward. Like literally, you just need maybe 17, 18, 20 seconds of sitting in this thinking about failing or where you're not good at something. By the time you do that, guys, you just literally give up. You literally just decide, you know what? I'm just not going to do it. I just can't bother. It's just too hard. I don't have what it takes. Like you have to release those stories because there is power in that letting go. When you are able to let go of those stories, it's like shedding leaves off the tree instead of holding on to those old beliefs that don't serve you. It's like purging your closet. Right? That's what it is. Releasing a story is literally like purging a closet. You are making way for the new thing, whether the thing is shoes or clothes or whatever, jewelry, whatever your thing is. Okay? So you need to release the story. Then you need to embrace the peace that comes from that clearing. Oh my gosh. Have you ever like decided to just let go of something and immediately you just feel like an exhale just approach you? You decide to let go of that person that you are in a relationship with, mentally speaking, right? You just decide to let go of all of the pain and the hurt and the discomfort that you've been holding on to. It's almost like some of us maybe just would give up because we're just tired. You just get exhausted. But when you do that release, right? Even if it's just a story you're letting go, you do that release. It just brings this, even if it's just in that immediate moment, it just brings this calm and this clearing almost, right? Where you can know, feel a little bit of tranquility and a little bit of ease. Yeah. So you want to be able to embrace that feeling, because when you start over, there's going to be some chaos. That's just the way it works. You know what I mean? It's like when you get a new idea for a new thing and you decide that you're going to chase that, and then all of a sudden you just drop in a one pothole for whatever reason. And you're just like, I knew it, Murphy's Law, something was going to go wrong. So that's why it's important for you to really embrace that space of tranquility and of peace, because when you start over, you're going to need to reach for that feeling. You're going to need to reach for that experience of freedom, that experience of calm. And you will need to be able to find back that peace as you are going through your start over process. Yeah. So you're releasing the story, right? You're facing it. First of all, you're facing how you're feeling about it, facing the emotions, really deciding, this is what I'm going for. And I know that these negative feelings are there and I'm going to move past them because I recognize that I'm going to have that discomfort because it's new and it's uncertain, right? So you face those feelings, you face the complex emotions, then you release the stories that you've been telling yourself about not being able to do it, the doubt, the fear, the shame, the guilt, right? And then you embrace the little bit of peace that you might get in just that moment. It may not be a big explosion of peace and exhaling, but you'll get something in that moment. So you embrace that. And when you have that essence of just feeling ease and the people noise, the noise of the people them in your head, it pauses for a moment. In that time is when you can now start to empower yourself. And the empowering is where the action comes in, right? This is where you've learned from facing your feelings, you've released the stories, and you've experienced enough peace that you can now take a step. Have you ever taken a step when you're in chaos? I'm not talking about like if you're in the middle of a fight and you have to make a response. I'm talking about when you have told yourself that you are in a fight and you just make a rash decision. And then that decision comes back and bites you in the ass, like it blows up in your face. When you're in a space of collected thought, when you're in a space of clarity or of ease, the decisions that you make are coming from that inspired place. And therefore, it has a different outcome because the energy that you start with is the energy that you finish with, right? So when you're empowering yourself now to take action, you want to make sure that the energy that's behind that, the intention that behind that feels more like I am limitless and not like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to start over again. I suck. No. You want to make sure that you are aligning your energy with the intention that you are creating and the outcome that you want for your life. And when you think about these different steps, the F, the R, the E, right? When you think about that formula of freeing yourself, it's not just helping you with the starting over. It's also really transforming the way that you think about doing anything in your life. Okay? So I really want you guys to talk about the experiences that you've had where you started over and you decided that you were going to create a new path for yourself. Talk about it. Share those experiences. Share the small and the large success stories. Share them with me. Share them with your community. Share them with your friends. Because the more you do that, the more you can engender the energy that will positively propel you forward. If you start to talk about all the things that didn't work well when you started over, like if I talked about all my failed relationships, as opposed to really focusing on the things that I was creating or the parts of relationships that went well, then getting to a place of a new relationship would be difficult. If I only focus on the times when my bank account was empty or in negative, or the times when my credit cards were maxed out, and that's all I could remember, then I wasn't going to be able to create space for the times when more times when my bank account is full or my credit cards are completely available to me, or, I have money coming in from unexpected sources, right? So you really want to celebrate and talk about the things that are serving your energy behind being that limitless person, behind knowing that you can start over and be free from the shackles that are preventing you from enjoying the life experience that you ultimately desire. All right. So we're going to wrap it up today, guys. And really just remember that starting over is not an admission of failure. It's not you going back to the beginning of wherever you felt like you were coming from. The person that is at that beginning is a different person than the person you are now. You are far more equipped, far more able, right? It is not you thinking like, you did not do well or that you didn't get it right. You can never get it right or never be done. You will get it right in a moment and you'll feel joy. And then there'll be another journey that you'll be on, right? Starting over is an act of courage. It's an act of standing for yourself and stepping fully towards the person that you are seeking to become. And it is a sign that you are not willing to stay stuck and just hanging out in the situations that have not been serving you, but you are brave enough to take another shot at your dreams, at the life that you desire, at the goal that you want. Okay? So no matter where you are in your journey, no matter how old you are, no matter how many times you may have not gotten it, right? No matter how many times you may have felt like you were a failure, right? No matter how many times, okay? It is now the moment that you are okay to do what you need to do to get on with it. You're very welcome, Rayleigh. Rayleigh says, thank you for today's message. I needed to hear this. Yes. These messages are always for whoever needs them at the moment. There is no mistake that you are listening to this, whether you're watching it live or you're watching the replay. So I'm going to leave you with the intention of being limitless. The affirmation says, your mind is a fertile playground filled with thoughts of abundance, new ideas, and limitless possibilities. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say to you, enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your week ahead, right? Take these messages with you and start something new this week just because. Whatever it is that you had on the shelf that Dagana does, just start. Start this week and come back next week to tea time and tell me how it's going. Okay? Thank you so much for joining, guys. It's always my pleasure to be with you. And have a wonderful Saturday. Take care, everybody. Take care. Bye. Bye.